May the peace and the blessings be upon each and every member of our listening audience. Welcome once again to Balance Matters. Because of the relevant and important matters of our society, I feel obligated that we should want to say to ourselves that it's time for us to accept responsibility. Tonight, I'm going to put a support base to what we tried to do last week. We said in no uncertain terms that we needed to consider how we look at things. We should want to consider if we're open for change. The enslaved Jews under Pharaoh was freed because Moses was victorious over Pharaoh's high priest. You notice I didn't say Pharaoh's political leaders. The enslaved Jews under Pharaoh was freed because of Moses' victory over Pharaoh's high priest in the challenge of knowledge. The knowledge they presented to one another, Moses came out on top. Ancient Egypt at that time was known for very wise, seasoned scholars. They were also known and well known for having tricky, and I say tricky, high priests. They were working for Moses to keep the people in control. Moses, with the word from God, from his creator, outsmarted the learned amongst the authority at that time and freed his people from bondage. This, my dear listening audience, is cause for a reflection. There is something in this story that if we were to look into the similarities of the history of the former enslaved people that came through the diaspora of which we are a part of, let us not forget we were an enslaved people. We didn't have no friends, political friends trying to save us. We didn't have no national friends looking out for us because they respected us and wanted to protect us from abuse. If one from amongst the Jews was raised from amongst them, inspired from amongst his own people, Moses, and he went up against the highest authority, he had the backing of a word from his Lord. And he was victorious and was able to free his people. And those of us who want to go further, who already know the story I'm pretty sure you could see something there to think about when it comes around to us having more reason to have a respect for representatives, leaders who trusted in God's word first, and recognizing the power of God's word, went up against the highest authority in the land and outsmarted all of them. It wasn't a political person that done that. It's one who depended on the word of God. And he did what? Free the people from slavery, allowed them to move on to higher ground, a promised land. Today, with opportunity abounding, with shackles of physical slavery removed from us, removed from the former enslaved by law, I would like to remind us, some of us are acting as though we have invisible ghost slave masters of the past who we can't see, but we act as though he still got us in control. In the back of our mind, there is somebody telling us and making us feel as though we can't do for self based on our potential. I hate to say that, but every now and then I get indicators that we have people publicly saying that black people's future, particularly those who came through the diaspora and is now representative of the children of the ancestors of slavery, the former enslaved. We are children of our ancestors. And some people are saying that we would never be able to get beyond the things that held us back. And today, with racism and white supremacy and those things associated with that, we have to get rid of white supremacy before we can make headway. We have to get rid of slavery before we make, racism before we make headway. Something that shouldn't be there in the back of our minds. An invisible slave master, a ghost of the past, is bothering some of us to the point where we're making statements that has no basis to it. Who is going to tell a free person how they should spend their money? Who's responsible for a free person knowing where they want to spend their money? Who chooses a free person's friends? Who chooses to move away from those who are not friendly or looking out for our interests? The free man makes decisions of his own. Knowing what has been a part of our burden based on in our history, we have a good reason to have a responsibility and accept the responsibility to dignify our people who lost our dignity under the burden of physical slavery. We should be considering, at least deciding if it will be worth us replacing our undignified way of life that came with habits of slavery, the aftermath of slavery. We should want to consider rebuilding our lives to a more dignified way of life, to have as an objective for the future a better lifestyle than what we've ended up with at this point in time. Because we surely are indicating that we've got the residual of slavery that's hurting us. And unless we change the way we're looking at things, we're not going to be confident that we could make decisions for ourselves. Like I said, decisions of spending money, who to spend money with, when to spend money, who to choose as friends, who to let go because of knowing that we're now experiencing treatment that says no. Who we thought was a friend is now an enemy. We can't choose to decide what's in our best interest when it comes down to these issues. Is it too lofty for me to say to you that we need to have a life of dignity and distinction, a noble lifestyle? Because that's what a dignified life represents. A life that brings about a quality of excellence, an honorable life, a dignified life. Should I want that as a desire? Being reminded by a cherished and respected caller last week, as she was on the air talking with us, she said she was hearing gunshots in the background in her neighborhood. And the next day it was reported that, yes, just before 10 o'clock last week, Tuesday, it was shots fired from a gun in the area of Engle Street and Court Street. So that caller was telling the truth while she was talking on Balanced Matters, talking to you, dear listening audience. She said to us while she was on the phone that she heard gunshots in the background whilst talking to us on the radio. I've not been able to get this out of my mind. This experience has not left me, and for good reason. It's still there, and that's why I am feeling like I'm feeling tonight. I ask you, dear listening audience, who experienced it like we all did, how bothered were you when we heard the caller say that she heard gunshots in the background in her neighborhood? I'm reminded by a writer with this quote: if you don't respect human life in your home, you may be in your apartment, or you may be in your own house. If you have members there sharing that environment, sharing that space, if they don't respect human life, that space will be made a hell for all the members occupying the space. It is no different for the neighborhood. It will be no different for the town or the city that we may be living in. If the people are not respecting human life, then their behavior is going to make a howl for the rest of us and a howl for everybody. I think we should take a slight breather and reflect on that a little bit. We must resist the temptation to put our burden on everybody else. When we think about the misuse of drugs, the violence that we know is overtaking us. I walk up and down the island and I hear how burdened we are knowing what the violence and loss of life over the years is doing to this country, this island home of ours. Violence, misuse of drugs, driving as though we want to hurt and kill ourselves on the roadside. We know we experience this every day. We see people driving and riding as though they're expected not to be to get to their destination because of the risk that they put themselves in, and they also put us as citizens in harm's way because we know how the very near accidents that we see every day on the road. And it seems like it gets worse every day. So that means that people's state of mind is going down and down, regardless if you want to believe it or not. The actual facts are not arguable if we want to be sincere and honest about these facts. In respect of one another, let us agree to this friendly reminder, dear listening audience, that we should bring to our consciousness the importance of practicing human values so as to respect human life, because our societal progress depends on this. Because when we respect human life, we make progress. The idea of lack of value of self, not having the proper sensitivities and care for self and one another at the highest level. Frightening to me, and this is what the writer says. I'm going to repeat. What life is in most of the quarters of these big cities, it is virtually hell. The suffering that goes on this earth today, it doesn't look any less frightening to me than what I learned that hell has for those who are going to hell. Now, those who have faith and believe and have allowed scriptural language to teach us some lessons, I think that will catch them a bit, just because there are some people promised to have a life of hell. Hell, as described by many who know Scripture, is a place where you are burned and will not be burnt up. Now I'm going to stop and repeat that. Scriptural language has said to us in describing hell, because some of us have been reminded that we believe in God and that there's a heaven and a hell. You take these types of things serious regardless how simple they may be sounding or how small the message may appear to be. But small packages normally have big and great value. Hell is a place where you are burned and will not be burnt up. Now listen to that. You're going to be burning, but you'll not be burnt up. I'm putting an emphasis on this because along the way, these words should open up our eyes, open up our ears and our heart. I'm giving a lot of respect to this subject because it's the value of our lives. And please forgive me if I'm offending you. But I'd rather offend you than to watch you be hurt more and not see an opportunity for real change and for us to look at a means towards progress that would allow us to be more confident in how and what we can and cannot do with our lives. I see families miserable, mothers miserable, grandparents miserable, seeing their sons and daughters on drugs going to the graveyard. Violence prone. These people I'm talking about, they carry out violence at the lick of the hat. Lickety split, they call it. This writer says, I see families miserable, mothers miserable, grandparents miserable, seeing their sons and daughters on drugs going to the graveyard. Violent prone, sick with immorality, sick with moral corruption. They're looking at that and can't do anything about it. That is what you call hellfire. That is a fire that burns all the time. It burns and won't stop burning. And we're living in it. We're not just talking about it. We're not just reading about it. We're actually living in it. And we're not burned up. The fire just keeps on burning. We just keep burning from this misery with no end appearing to be in sight. That's what we think. We can turn that thing around, bring the human being back into the body, and we will see a great difference. That is what religion is about. Religion is not about you shouting and pretending holiness, fainting and carrying on. Then we go out, leaving church, leaving the temple, or leaving the mosque, and go right back to the same life of self-destruction, making others and yourself miserable. That is not religion. Religion is beautiful. It is intelligent. respects human life so much that it wants us to have the intelligence to manage human life for ourselves. This is Islam, al-Islam, the Islam. This is Christianity. This is Judaism. This is Buddhism. This is Hinduism. Every religion wants you to have the intelligence to manage your own life. I conclude my monologue by saying, to manage your own life and to get the satisfaction of seeing your life progress, knowing that your actions, your behavior is what made that happen. God truly helped me today with that monologue. I finished up with 1 minute and a couple seconds left before my normal half an hour expectation of monologue. I feel pretty good about that. I felt good expressing those thoughts. I feel good wanting us to have a friendly discussion that involves us having a reflection on us having optimism about seeing down the road in the way that Moses saw down the road and saw a brighter future for his people. As much as he witnessed them being under brutal treatment of the Pharaoh. Brutal treatment. Moses wasn't afraid to go forward because he wanted better for the future of his people. And he had no fear of the authorities that was in front of him, because he had something that he had so much confidence in that was going to be bigger, more defensive, more protective for him, and he was going to always win against the opposition because he knew the strength of the message, the knowledge, because knowledge is power, dear listening audience. Knowledge is power. We're not talking about fighting with the weapons of war that dismantles the physical body these days. Nowadays, the battle for the mind of people is the battle that everybody is going after. Every knowledgeable and aware person who wants the attention of another group, they're not trying to get your attention through physical attractions. They're getting to attract your mind, get the attention of your mind first. And once they know that they got your mind, they could get you to take off all your clothes after that. They could get you to forget that you have some work to do, because slavery took a lot of our dignity away from us as a people. And we have history now that we're free to read and go back into the history, the cultures of the people that our ancestors are now known to have come from. These people were dignified people at one time. Respected, knowledgeable scholars at one time. People that made major change in the Renaissance at one time. But they fell. I'm talking about our people now. We fell down and ended up being weak, and we couldn't resist those who came and came with a scheme and was able to end up having control of us as a human body, as their property. And they, over the years, diminished our value in various ways. Oh yes, some of those things that have been responsible for devaluing us, it hurts me. I don't spend too much time repeating that stuff, but I do it enough to remind myself that I understand what I'm fighting against nowadays and why it's so important for us to have a better perspective of the value of human life. Because as much as we are in a human picture, this physical body of ours, we call it a human body by virtue of it being flesh and bone and blood. But when it comes around to our sensitivities, when it comes around to those things that make us feel and be very different and special compared to any other creature that the Creator created, we have been reduced to a way of life that sometimes insults the animal because of what we've ended up being in this physical structure that we are. But we are not demonstrating the qualities that God intended for us as human beings, to be kind, caring, respectful, dignified, honorable. The Creator has taught us in Scripture that human being is a noble creature, an honorable creature. Now, you think somebody else can tell me how less of a person I am, knowing that the Creator has reminded me of my value? I just said to you that dignity represents a quality or a state of worthiness, representing excellence. Being dignified is associated with all of that. Am I looking at something too lofty? Am I saying something that you're not worth achieving, dear listening audience? Have we been given something that makes us feel that we should not have the highest of esteem as being the character as a person, and then reflecting it as a people, and then in turn fighting against any who wants to devalue that esteem and purpose? Dear listening audience, the number is 297-1027. We're talking Balance Matters. I feel good tonight. I hope that we can build on what we reflected on last week. We said we're not going to be in the business of entertaining ourselves and catering to our feelings, wanting to make ourselves feel good and staying away from the things that cause us to see ourselves in ways that don't do well for us. Having our neighborhoods normalized by having gunshots in the background while we're talking on talk radio. I couldn't get over that experience. What have we become? These minds that is involved with us having such unacceptable behavior. I say to you, dear listening audience, let us not cave in to looking outside of ourselves and wanting to pass over our responsibility because of history in the past of being mistreated. And because we have people in the earth today with devilish ideas who may never, ever give up their intent to abuse and misuse people. The same mindset that ended up with establishing racism. Racism in every aspect of human life, from education to religion to the social life. Racism and the white supremacy as it relates to the idea of whites being better than blacks. Man, we will never ever go through life without seeing this stuff. It has permeated over the centuries. But you can't tell me, not Grace's boy. You can't talk to a person like me, and the number is 297-1027. We're talking Balance Matters. You could call in at any time. Don't let me make you feel as though the discussion or the time to be used up tonight is for me to say everything to you. No, dear listening audience. We want to invite ourselves, people of like intention, with like mind, who's looking down the same path, who's looking favorably, because the concept of wanting better for ourselves is the first step to meaningful change. Calling on Balance Matters.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you too.
How are you? How are you, sir?
I said how I felt. If you've been listening, I'm feeling good.
Well, that's wonderful.
I'm feeling good.
That's good to hear, man.
Yeah.
You need to feel good, and we need to communicate with each other.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
I meet regularly with people, friends of mine, and we talk about the subject matter that you express every week from our own perspective. And what we do is allow each person to formulate their point of view. And we respect the point of view, whether we agree with it or not. And I think that's what you're trying to do with your radio show. At least that's what I get from it. And after saying that, I want to say this. When I look at, you mentioned about Hebrewism, which is what Judaism is a religion on Hebrewism. And you talked about Christianity, you talked about Islam, and you talked about Moses, you talked about Abraham, you talked about Jesus. I think you talked about Jesus.
No, I didn't go with Abraham or Jesus. But I did mention Christianity, which covers all of that. Which covers all of that. So I have no problem with you saying that.
Right. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that. The point that I want to make is that all of them had the fundamental origin in Africa. Yes.
No, I don't subscribe to that totally. No.
Okay. Where does the origin come from?
Origin of what? Origin of what?
Well, they had to start somewhere. Moses was an African, yes. That's what they say. Wasn't Moses an African?
Let me say this here. When I look at how the message of Moses is presented to me, I don't see Moses nationally. I've never had a reason you're talking to me. Let me finish, please.
Go ahead.
I've never had a reason to look at Moses' ethnicity from a national point of view and call him an African. Now, if history records that he's from a region that's in Africa, then I would have to agree with you that he's from Africa.
Well, we could find out that information, I'm sure, where Moses was born and where that place was and where did he get his education from? Where did he get his knowledge from?
He got his knowledge from God. He was inspired by God, according to the Moses story.
Yes.
So what do you mean where he got his knowledge from?
Well, the point that I'm trying to get to is that oftentimes when I broach the subject with you, you talk about pagan religions. But the point that I want to make is that if these three major national religions started along now...
Hold up 1 second, Tamari. I don't want to lose what you're trying to say to me, so before you go any further, I want to understand something. I can never remember me talking about a pagan religion with you.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm saying that there was a religion that preceded these three Western religions. And I'm saying that the people who founded or were the foundation of building these three religions got that information from a religion that was preceded them. That's the point that I'm trying to make.
Let me ask this question here.
Sure.
I'm glad you're talking right now, number one, and I'm even more glad that you're talking about the subject you're talking about.
Yes.
Now, I really want to understand you better.
Sure.
And I'm going to ask you a question tonight.
Sure.
Would you give me an understanding of what's the basis of how you believe so I could understand better when you're projecting, because I may be able to look into what your foundation is to understand the messages or the ideas and the types of concepts that you promote. What is your belief?
What is my belief?
Yeah.
It's personal. I'm saying that.
So you know why I had to ask that question?
Sure.
See, I know for a fact how important it is for my position, regardless of what subject it may be on, who it involves, what it involves. The best thing I could do is put the searchlight of scrutiny on a person's information that they're sharing with me so I could get better understanding of what they like for me to understand.
I'm trying to... Go ahead.
I'm going to give you all the time you want, brother. So,
sure.
You don't
it's
have
just
to
that
be,
when you... I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm just trying to...
I'm not saying you're being difficult. I just want you to be patient and let me finish.
Sure, man.
When it comes down to the importance of the searchlight of scrutiny, even when we're not around each other, after hearing us talk one time or another, I could spend another 5 days researching the information in support of or to have a greater understanding so I could better talk with the individual so I could then ask the proper questions for me to have the understanding that I'm looking for. So,
I answered the question, but you didn't really hear what I was saying. I said that there was a religion that preceded these three Western religions, which influenced them. You can research that, the Nile Valley.
You're saying that now, just now you said it was personal. You didn't say that earlier.
No,
you said it was personal.
I said my personal belief. You asked what my belief was. I said
it was personal.
I don't. Yes, I don't wish to influence anybody about my personal belief.
But let me say this here: if you're going to say something, and it's based on something, I deserve for me to understand what your basis is. Other than that, you're giving me stuff, and I can't follow up on it.
I don't want you to follow up on. I don't want you to follow me.
I didn't say follow you. We're talking about information. I'm not talking about following you. I don't follow a man. I'm talking about sharing information. And if the information is there for us all to benefit, I can't see why we can find a way to not guide us towards that information. So for me to understand you better, I know I would do better in understanding what's the basis and the principles that's holding up your perspective, so I could see the reason why you're presenting what you're presenting. That's what scholars do. I'm not trying to beat some drum and have somebody look at me as a scholar, but I try at my best to be scholarly in understanding matters of importance.
But even if I was to give you an answer to your question,
you answered it. You answered it. You answered it. You've given me an answer, brother. Based on what you just said, I get what you said. So continue. I don't want to hold dead air on it.
Yeah, because there's a concept of religion that preceded these three religions. Nile Valley. Whoever's listening on the radio right now can research the Nile Valley religions that preceded these three. And they could do their own research. I don't want to influence them with what I found. I would prefer that they do their own research. And I'm directing them where to look for what religions preceded these three vast religions that we have now.
Now, you know something?
I know, I understand about, I can give you some information with regard to, I know for a fact that there is something that predated this. They didn't just pop out of the earth. I know you said that they came from God, but didn't the people who lived 1,000 years before these religions even came into prominence have a concept of God? What was it?
Look, if I'm going to put some emphasis on what we're trying to do tonight, my willingness to respect the intelligence of religion, regardless if I know about that religion or not, if I never heard it before or not, based on what I know religion is intended to do, most reasonable and beneficial religions are consistent with respecting the intelligence of human life. That's what the focus of my presentation was tonight. The idea of looking at an individual or at one religion or any nationalism, not in the cards, but dealing with information respecting intelligence of the human life. Now, if that can happen with what you're presenting, brother, we're open now to share what the human life can benefit from when we express our religion, or our information. But see, I'm gonna tell you straight up, bro. I'm gonna say this here right to the core. Last week when you said that my perspective requires more questioning, I heard that there very loud and clear in my ears, loud and clear. Now, I've always said, if I cannot withstand this such light of scrutiny and questions, I'll be putting my notice into outer communications overnight. Because God knows, man, I don't want to be some fictitious entity that nobody understands and really doesn't need to follow or make sense of, so as we can make progress with. That's not in the cards. So the idea of me being questioned, I've asked for people to question me. according to the reasoning that we present on talk radio on Balance Matters. I get very few questions related to the topic, you know. I have more people giving me their opinion and their viewpoint, which is okay. I don't have no problem with that there. But I'm pretty sure that some of this information demands that we ask more questions than what we do. But I'm not going to get mad at that. I'm hoping that one day we would ask enough questions for us to improve upon what we're doing rather than to discredit each other. Now, you can continue.
I'm in agreement with that, and the only reason why I call is to give people information for them to research on their own.
Well, what about looking at the subject? What about looking at the subject?
Well, I would say this. You talked about what we should. We want a society of that is just, pretty much. Essentially, without going through all the different words that you use to describe what justice is, I'm saying that there is a society that existed before these came into existence that had education, had all the elements of arts and science, had a religious system, had a political system that developed a culture that produced the pyramids, that produced, like I said, these three religions. The Nile Valley. They had a society that existed there that was harmonious enough, peaceful enough, respected human life enough, where these three religions sprung out of. So I would want to know, what was the political, religious, legal, educational system that existed prior to that? That's the question that I'm posing to the public.
Here we are dealing with gunshots and stuff like that there in the island of Bermuda, looking at each other to try to encourage each other to see the value in each other so we could work together. And we're going back to the pyramids.
The society that produces the intelligence that could produce architecture such as that.
Okay, well, I'm going to leave the audience to do that, and hopefully next week they'll let us know what their findings were. Thank you very much, Tamari.
You're welcome.
Have the rest of a great evening.
You too, man.
Calling on Balance Matters.
Yes, good evening, Brother Shakir.
Good evening to you too, man.
Yes, bro. You know, I was also so sad the other day, man, that young lady was on, talk radio talking about gunshots. You know, there's been a warning out there to all people that want to carry on their way. Please hand those guns in or drop them in the box or the pail, right? Because we really need this. You know, we need the young generation to run this country. You know, we don't need to be going and to the funerals and all that type of stuff. But it's happening, right?
Yes, it is.
So I'm encouraging, just consider people, just go out there and see whether you can help them. If you see a young person that's something that's going to harm somebody, knife, gun, whatever, right? Please sit with them, go up to them, and then also if they don't want to pay attention, report it. And that is what you call tough love. We want them to survive, in our community and be productive. Brother Shakir?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Because, we can't keep on this road. But right now, on this show, we're looking at how we're going to move Bermuda. Chris Preble was on tonight on Union Talk.
Yes.
He has a plan, right? A good plan. This is what it involves. A lot of Bermudas, also the international companies, the chefs, to what school teachers, all that. Mm-hmm. Have a discussion on how we're going to build Bermuda. With this corporate tax, of course, coming into play.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
See how God sends things to us to work with. And we can't deviate. Sometimes we cannot deviate anywhere else, but keep focused because we need these young ones. Mind you, they are showing us, some of them, right, they can run this country or participate and run in Bermuda. And that's encouragement. You see, Brother Shakir? See, the mind, right? A mind is a terrible thing to raise. That's why these type of subjects, that's why it's called balance matters.
Yes.
Because it does.
Yes.
Because, if you don't pay attention to that type of message, right?
Yes.
You are consumed by the colonial, right? I'm talking about the mind thinking. What's in your heart is what's in your soul.
Yes.
Right? People will take on something evil, and they know it's evil, but they continue down that path like a gun, using heroin, all that type of stuff. So these type of shows, what we're talking about tonight, is so, must say, a blessing from our Creator.
Yes.
And that goes throughout this show.
Yes.
And other shows.
Yes. Yes.
So, that's why, I love, putting this up because the mindset that what's the word now, that we are looking at between you, me, and then the public is so important to our core, our survival.
Yes.
Yes. No, we had a conversation, Brother Chris, and I brought up a bank.
Yes.
For Bermuda, a union bank. That can be established if we all communicate, bring ideas to the table, where we can bank our own money in that. That's what it's there for. We need to take our money from our union and take it to Butterfield. We need to keep that money right there where we can grow our generations. Now, I ain't talking about black and whites, because not prejudice.
Yes.
If they want to come, they can come and join us.
Whosoever
There's only one road,
Yeah, whosoever will may come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, that's the only way to go, Bermuda. Because right now we are being consumed by, I don't want to get too deep into it, because Shakira, I know you know. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just by you conversating, just listen to your dialogue.
Yes.
What path you're on. And I'm sure, right?
Yes.
This goes throughout Bermuda.
Yes.
We have to keep on this mindset where we can start healing this country. And some people go, oh, well, there's nothing I can do about it. I said, that's why, because you know why? You're not thinking on that powerful or that message from God. He gives it to us, but we have to use it.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect, but hey, guess what? Hey, I'm moving in this direction to farming, fishing, and a few other things I'm dealing with. I don't want to bring it on right now, but I'm going to let people know that I'm working on something else that's going to, enhance the young ones.
Yes.
So you can come in anytime you like, bro. Because,
look, man, I'm personally, I'm encouraged by your management of yourself, man. I personally, I'm telling you, I'm encouraged by your consistency, man. Truly am. I really am, man. Yeah. See,
because these things have to be told. They have to be said. Because like you said, Moses, he had to come out and do his part.
See, one of the things that comes clear to me when I hear you is your desire. That says more and has a greater volume in what I get out of what you promote. Out of all the things that I hear coming from you, your desire has a great impact on how I'm to see your intention and what you want me to understand. I just want you to understand and hear that, my dear brother.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, and I pray to God that more people like yourself will multiply and join the ranks, looking down the path, because I'm a strong believer that I should want to respect those who are looking down the same path I am. People have freedoms to go where they want to go. I am not in the way of anyone and their desires. I have a right to choose who I'm going to be with and who I'm going to support and why I should support them. And I leave that to anyone else to have the same freedoms.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Crofty.
Yeah, man. Thank you too, my brother. God bless you and family.
You and yours, and have the rest of a great evening.
Yes, bless you, bro.
Calling you on Balance Matters.
Good evening, Mr. Secure. That's my brother.
Good evening to you too, and blessings to you as well.
Very interesting topic. We all know that the family structure has declined over the years. The biggest thing is respect. People have no respect today. People are like microwaves. They want everything instant. I can remember when you're little, you're about 2 weeks older than me.
Yes.
When we grew up as boys, I remember when I used to, in my neighborhood, there was an orange 5-6 orange tree. We would wait till nighttime to take the oranges. It was wrong, but we wait till nighttime. Today, they're doing things in broad daylight. I thank Almighty God for the position to put me as a gas station. And I've seen a lot of things, and a lot of these young men need someone to talk to. I'm not judging you. I've talked to a lot of them. I've seen weapons on the bikes and stuff like that. And the reason why a lot of these guys are in gangs is because, first of all, a lot of them don't have, I'm not even saying a father, but a lot of them don't even have a positive male role model that they can look up to or even guide them. A mother cannot be a father. And that's why we are having so many issues today. When I'm at work, I encourage everyone. Portuguese, black, white, I encourage everyone because everyone's going through something. And I'm a type of person, I'm very observant. And, you can always tell when someone's going through something, their body language. When I talk to people, I look in your eyes. That's just the way I was brought up. And a prime example today, senior citizen lady, the teacher is going through something. And God blessed me yesterday with some funds because I make my paying relief premium. And she said, oh, can I get $50? She said, oh no, I left my wallet here. I said, madam, you know what? I'm going to bless you. I'll pay for that gas. So I live my life encouraging one another. It's important because we all are going through something.
Yes.
And this gang violence and stuff that's going on, like I said, when I first started, a lot of these young males don't have a positive role model to guide them. I mean, when we were younger, we done a lot of tricks, we done a lot of this, we done a lot of that. And the book there, train up a child in the way he should go. And then he departs. He's not going to forget that upbringing that he had or that she had. But today, unfortunately, a lot of these mostly young boys, young men, are not getting it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we, as men, that's the only people that can reach this side. Us, man, not a woman, not a government, not a committee put together, some game control, whatever you want to call it. They cannot speak to their side, but only we true, strong male can talk to this side. And that's what they need. I've talked to a lot of different guys. And that's what we need.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, they said take the village to raise a child. That was back in the day. You can't use that statement today.
Could I say something to you? Because your frequency is moving up and down. Are you speaking to a cell phone or something? Because if you're moving around, I would like for you to consider that. If you're speaking to your cell phone, stay in that one spot and talk, because your voice is going up and down.
How's it now?
Yeah, you can continue.
Okay. So, like I said, we as men need to reach these young guys. And we need to encourage one another.
Yes.
Because we all go through things in life, right?
Yes.
And you know, I'm a type of person, my granny always tell me, things that we go through in life are stepping stones for our character.
Yes.
It can either make you or break you.
Yes.
And I believe in that first state, make you.
Yes.
So, yes, we will go through things in life. But I'll say again, a lot of these young males don't have positive male role models in their life.
Yes.
And they're looking for attention. They're looking for love.
Yes.
They're looking for love. A young man came to me today, got gas, and said, "How you doing, bro?" And I've known him for many years, so not impressed, but knowing him and seeing him around. This man, struggling, man. He's a single father of an 8-year-old daughter, a single father. And he's working 3 jobs. So all our males are not seeing a lot of dominance. This guy, so I suggested, look, he's working in the hotel industry, and you know that's not stable. It's not, you know,
yes.
You're working for
yes.
6 months
yes.
and blah. So I said,
yes.
look, my job is always looking for attendance, right? Then you start the part-time, then eventually you become full-time. At the end of the day, rain, door, shine, your work.
Yes.
So your boy hugged me and said, "Oh, thank you, my brother." I said, "Yeah, man, no problem." And that's what we as men need to do.
Yes.
We are not our brother's keeper.
Yes.
And then that our brother's keeper, it's not like he can tear them.
Yes.
It's just to encourage. We all men need encouragement.
Yes.
We all need encouragement.
Yes.
We need encouragement. And it feels, Mr. Shakur, it feels so good when someone says, you know, you have a good day. Whatever you're going through, that too shall pass.
Yes. Yes.
And a lady said something to me today, and it brought tears to my eyes, because my granny always tell me, you never know who's watching. You never know. You never know.
Yes.
So how I live my life the way, and I'm not perfect.
No.
I live my whole life the way where no one has nothing on me, and no one can say, well, hey, Coach D, blah, 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 blah. I respect you, you respect me. And this lady told me, Coach, you know, I've seen you over the years. I've seen you in the football field. I've seen you in the cricket. This is the first time I've seen this woman. Continue doing what you're doing. And your grandmother would be proud of you. And,
wow.
and you know, so little things like that.
Yes. Yes.
And, us men, and I've said it before on this show, and on other shows, we have to come together. Because at the end of the day, the man that you guys will see is the man, the police. That's who they see. That's who they'll see.
Yes.
And then behind bars. So we have a right to go to these guys, speak to them, and plant the seed.
Yes.
Because the thing is, we can't change. We don't have the power to change anybody. The Almighty has given us the power to plant the seed.
Yes. Yes.
And at the end of the day, it's up to that individual.
Yes.
If he or she wants to be that person.
Oh yes. I concur. Change starts from within.
Exactly.
You can't make a person change. You can't give them and think they're going to change because of when you want it, because it happens within the time that the Creator works with the individual.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you said something about nurses, and that was powerful. And the nurses took the children out of Egypt.
Yes.
You know, they were glad. But when challenges came their way, Then Moses was on the rock and with the Red Sea in front of him, and Pharaoh and the army and the soldiers were behind him, and they're saying like, "Oh, Moses, why you take us out of Egypt and now Pharaoh's men will come get us?" So even when we are free, sometimes our mind falls back. We should have never left. We should have did this way and that way. But what happened?
Yes.
The Almighty told Moses to raise the rod and the sea opened up, children of Israel went through and walked on dry land. And then when they was over, the ocean came back together and the army was pursuing. So my thing is, there are times when we may feel neglected or we have done good and little obstacles get in the way. That's life.
Yes.
Life will not be perfect.
Yes.
And the last thing I'm going to say, my granny says, some of the most prettiest flowers, lilies, grow up in a dirty, stinking corn.
That's right.
And what she got, what she was saying was,
yes,
no matter your surroundings,
yes,
no matter your upbringing,
yes,
does not have to reflect your manhood.
The way you end up. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
But like you said, at the end of the day, it's a choice.
Yes.
It's a choice. But Mr. Shakur, it's a topic that's going to be around for a long time, and something has to be done. Because I'll be real quick. The two young gentlemen that were shot in Court Street, an hour before they got shot, I served one of those guys at St. John's gas station. And I see young guys, I said, "Hey, my brother, you stay from your bike. That's the curve." And he had a blade on his bike. So just the curve. That's the curve. He said, "Okay, Uncle, thanks." He just gave him a touch. Just this little thing.
Yes.
Unfortunately, he was murdered. But we just need to encourage people more and stop being in a hurry and respect each other more and stuff like that. Because when we grow up, that's our rule.
See, before you go off, I'd like to say this. And you sparked something and you said, it's going to be a subject that's going to hang around for a while. See, change in human development has never been instant. It's never been like that. That's why the Honorable Dame Jennifer Smith, when she became leader of the country when the PLP won in 1998, her inaugural address to the Bermuda community, I remember this one part so clearly. I don't think I'll ever remember as clearly the other thing she said. She said there's one thing that stuck with me because I knew the value of it. Change is not an event, it's a process.
Exactly, that's true.
You just don't go out and do 1, 2, or 3 things and think that change is going to happen.
Exactly.
Based on the need and the bigger objective, it's a process, it's a timeline, mate. And based on how much is needed, what you're looking for has a lot to do with managing a reasonable time to expect it. So in our wisdom, that's why, see, the Moses story is only one of a few great stories, Moses, and see, the reason why I brought the Moses out tonight, see, the concept of a people in slavery, that's in our history.
Yep, it is.
A concept of the people that found a way to relieve the people. That person came from amongst themselves.
Exactly.
Number 2. Number 3, he did not depend on knowledge coming from the community. He went and depended upon a source that knew better in all walks.
Exactly.
And he had faith and confidence, even though he didn't even believe what he was going to do was going to succeed. The Creator told him, go forward and just do what I'm asking you to do.
Yeah.
And you'll see what the result is going to be.
Exactly.
So my point being is, even Moses, as much as he trusted and wanted to have faith in God, he didn't understand fully the power of the message that he was about to deliver.
Exactly.
And when he delivered it, it swallowed up everything else that attempted to compete with him. So what did they say? You deserve to be freed now. So our freedom shouldn't be looked at from a politician.
Nope.
Our freedom will come from the way we see our greatest value according to how the Creator have advised us on what our true value is, man.
Exactly. Exactly.
You see? So when I think about those four things right there, that's just a minute portion of the reasons why I chose to do that presentation tonight like I did. Because if we are to be open-minded, we can see something relevant and relative to our own history.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if we had a desire to want to actually be the best we can be, then we will trust in the things that will get us there. Now, without that trust, we're never going to put into practice the things that we need.
Yeah, that's
So I'm simply saying to us as a people, we're going to first desire to want to achieve the things that's best for ourselves. We're not going to have the environment created at home, in the neighborhood, in the community, in the society that's good for our children unless we want better for our children. We're going to first want better for our children.
Exactly. Exactly.
And what I'm saying to us as a people, we have lost by virtue of our own habits, a desire to want to protect the interests of our children. Now, how many ways are we supposed to say that? And who are we expecting to say that? Because other people who's looking at us killing each other. I remember hearing a guy say, man, I feel like I get angry when I think about what this guy said to me, man. This is a policeman in Bermuda. He said to me one day, he don't worry about the killing each other.
I've heard that said too.
That makes my job easier.
Yeah, yeah. I
Came out of the mouth of a policeman. He's not bothered about them killing each other. It's making the job easier for him.
Yeah, yeah.
So what I'm getting at, bro, it's no coincidence that we're not approaching some of the things that we need to approach in a better way. We may need to question if we have our priority list of how we're thinking in order. And that's all I'm asking us to consider, how important it is to get our priority list in order, man. Like I'm gonna let you go with this here. just this week, mate, I was looking up some information. And one of the writers I was looking into, he said, you know, some of us look into history looking at the past. He said, if history was intended for you to be addressing your past all the time, how are you going to go forward?
Exactly.
So his point was, you need to understand how relevant your history should apply to your present.
Yeah.
You need to understand how to function through history to address your present. If you can't see a value in your history in the past to associate it with your present, you're wasting your time.
That is true. That's true. That is
So
true.
I thank you very much for your contribution.
And can I just say one little thing?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Sunday night, I was at my cousin's house, and he had a few brothers up there from different denominations and stuff, and they were talking.
Yes.
And he did a little sermonette, and the topic was head for the mountain. And, you know, we we as believers, followers of the Almighty,
Yes.
we as a Muslim, we should be heading for the mountain, heading, and meaning saying that, heading what's best for us.
Mm-hmm.
And he says the reason what we should be up there where the eagles fly.
Mm.
And when the eagles fly high, they're free. They can do whatever they want. But he said a lot of us are down in the valley like a sparrow catching worms. And that's why we're not growing. So my brother, you have a blessed evening.
You do likewise, you and yours, and let us continue to encourage one another to go down the right path, man.
Exactly. That's it, my brother.
And the rest of a great evening.
Yes, you too.
The number is 297-1027. We're talking Balance Matters. We have serious work ahead of us. Calling on Balance Matters.
Good evening, Shakir. How are you?
I'm thankful, man.
I've been listening to you, man. You are one inspirational person, man. And that other good guy that just went off.
Yes.
You guys know exactly what we need to do, and the Father knows it, and He is putting it in your hands, and He's putting people in front of you, right, to see if other people's paying attention. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We all have to come together to store our children and our behavior and everything, but they must remember balance matters because of the Father. You understand that?
I hear you.
The blessing is coming from everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the strongest blessing is when you believe in what the Father's telling you, like those scripture. You believe in what you're doing. You're going forward. You're spreading the word. You understand? Just like the brother that was just one. He's spreading the word.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's up to us, right? Not the police, not the politicians.
Yes.
It's up to us
Yes.
to do our people's thing to balance our children in the way they want. Now it's up to the children to take their advice.
Yes.
We can do it, but they must be able to take it as well. If they issue it out, you issue out wrong, then you must, how they say it, if you do the crime, you must do the time.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
On that note, my brother, you have a pleasant evening. I'll listen to you off the air.
I thank you very much for your contribution and your support.
And my name is Brother Trot.
Okay, Brother Trot, just Brother Trot.
Yeah, my name is Peter Trot.
Okay. I'll remember that name, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, and my brother, bless, man, bless him. And you keep Balance Matter going, man. I love it.
Thank you very much for your encouragement. I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
You have a blessed evening, you and your family.
You do likewise, you and yours, man.
And enjoy your Christmas.
Right, you do, and be safe over the holiday, okay?
Hey, guess what? As long as I listen to you and your father, I got nothing to worry about, mate.
All right, dear bro. Take care. You on Balance Matters?
Yes, good evening, Cromwell. How are you, sir?
I'm thankful, man. I'm thankful, man.
Just so long, I can hardly hear you.
I'm thankful. Yeah, I'm good.
Hello?
Yes. I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I got
all right. Yes.
First of all, I couldn't get in last week, and I heard you talk about your son.
Yes.
And it was your birthday.
It was his birthday. It was his birthday.
Oh, his birthday.
Yeah.
I was really touched knowing how you were touched when he said to you, he told you, thank you, Father.
Yes.
Thank you, for. But anyway, we know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do. I thank you.
Yes, I want to say, I had an experience with my oldest son, right?
Yes.
He called me. He had gone through the radar, on his bike, and he called me, and before he said anything, I could feel that he was upset.
Yes.
And he told me, Daddy, look, I ran through the radar and I got away from the cop on the bike and I'm out Spanish Point in the trees. What should I do? I said, well, boy, you asked me you asked for my opinion what you should do. I said, listen to what I'm going to tell you, but do what I say, okay? And I said, listen, I want you to get on your bike and go to the police station and turn yourself in. Tell them you ran through the radar and what you done. He said, but Daddy, I said, listen, do what I said. I'm your father. Do what I said. He reluctantly said, okay. About 15 minutes later, I got a call from the police station. Mr. Pitcher, I have your son here. He's turned himself in. He told me you told him to come. I said, well, yes, I did. He said, I'll tell you what. I'm going to just let him know that I'm not going to give in, this ain't going any further. But he said, I wish other parents would do that, you know. Wow. And you know what? I said, look, give him a little scare, but I appreciate you calling. And I felt within myself that this is what would happen, right?
Yes.
So he said, he asked, what do you mean give him a little scare? I said, just fake and, fake to say, come here. And, turn the key on him. And then he was getting towards, heading. Just because I'm a guy who always like to play tricks on people.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Said, come here. I said, I'm not going to put you in handcuffs, but I'm going to put you in the jail, right? And then before he walked one step, he laughed. He said, look, that was a little something that your father told me to do, right? But he said, I'm going to let you go. And let me say this. From that day, I've never had any trouble with that my son. Yes. Never.
Yes.
He's never been in trouble with the law. And I just say to parents, the policeman is not your enemy.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They're for our protection.
Yes.
Now, for you to say what a policeman said to you, I'm wondering if that policeman was a white man. He couldn't have been a black man.
Mm-hmm.
What you said earlier about you was upset with policeman said.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna hurt your heart. It was a black guy, mate.
Oh man.
You better believe it, mate. That's why it's seared through my heart like it did, brother.
Hey, man.
That was all the more reason I could never forget that, boy.
Hey, and now that you're telling me he was a black man, that's upset me.
Telling you, brother.
But honestly. But look, the other thing was, these murders, it's funny, but I recall being on the talk show on the Union Corner at the day that these guys were shot on Court Street. Right?
Yes.
And somebody called in to hold it and said there's a shooting. And that was on a Tuesday. And
yes, it was.
Week,
yes.
Right. And last week, I heard the girl
say she heard gunshots in the background. Yes.
Background.
Yes.
Man, imagine living in an area where that's going on and seeing like she took it like it was a regular occurrence.
Look. I'm so glad. Look, my dear brother, I'm so glad you're bringing that up. Let me share with you what I have done over the week with this subject you're talking about. I approached, I don't know how many people on this that I know listen to my show, right? Or the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I said to them, I felt really bothered by the neighborhood, bothered with the neighborhood having so frequent experience with shooting that it appears to be normalized. When it comes around to, I listen to how easily that, and I say respected and cherished caller, because that's who I had in my mind when I opened up my monologue tonight, That cherished caller that called in and said about that shooting in the background, she didn't miss a beat, man. She was talking about it. She never stopped talking. She didn't indicate that she was bothered or nothing like that. So I said to a few people, I don't know how often she hears this, to the point where that was her response to that incident. And I'm not saying that she has been normalized. I'm saying that I'm thinking about how many people now are conditioned to accept that that's the way it is. It's hurtful to just think that it's impacting on people in a way where it's becoming normalized. And please be careful, listeners. I'm not saying that the sister, the woman, acted as though she was it's a normalized issue. I'm saying that was my thinking. And I'm just saying that we should think about this to wonder how these occurrences are impacting on people and what it's doing to us. That's changing our lives in ways that we could hardly imagine, man.
Carmel, I felt the same way. I was hurting for the sister, you know?
Yes, man.
I mean, I was saying, like, if that happened in my neighborhood, boy, I don't know. I don't know how I could take it, you know?
Yeah.
But it's something. Look, but the last thing I'm going to say is I can't be out there, you know, trying to, because I've lost my sight.
Yes.
But whatever I can do, in my condition, I'm prepared to do it.
Yes.
Group of guys want to get together and let's organize. I'm a builder. I can teach.
Yes.
Without my sight, guys, to take up a trade.
Yes.
Because a trade right now is the way to go for a man, a black man, because there's very few out there, very few.
Yes.
And it's this is, I mean, if the hotels are online, we got all these foreigners in there, and because we don't have the tradesmen out there,
Yes.
And I can teach someone to build a house with the 3D panel system that it's remarkable. It's a better way of building than building with block. We used to build with stone. We went to block, and even before the stone, we was building with wood.
Yes.
And now we're building with a battle system where your house is insulated. The construction of the house, your house is insulated, so your electrical bill is down for heating and cooling your home.
Yes.
And this then Torikins better than conventional building, and that's something I want to take off.
Yes, and that's progress.
Hey man, it sounds like the pie in the sky, but it's simpler. It's a simple process.
Yes.
But anyway, Cromwell, just like the other brother said, balance matters, and the passion you bring it on. If your monologue started out with the guys that call in,
yes,
yes, the brothers have got to get together.
Well, I'm certain.
Got to make it happen.
I'm certain that the pieces of the puzzle, when I hear sentiments like yours and others, for me, I wouldn't be feeling as good as I do if it wasn't for the pieces of the puzzle coming together. I could feel it. Now, over time, I'm going to be spending important time for us to understand what this coming together demands of us, because sometimes our perspective of coming together, we're not seeing it, the picture of how we can come together, or what it is that we need to demonstrate for us to prove that we are coming together. We need to spend some time on having it cleared up in our mind as to what it is that we need to demonstrate, to show. Like, for instance, when I listen to what you have said on this show, you and I are already together.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, I don't need to be in a building with you. I don't need to be in a room with you. I don't need to be reminded that you and I is going to meet tomorrow. I already know that based on where you are in your spirit and knowing what it is that will be attracting you, just like you said, you were bothered with the same thing I was bothered with. Brother, that's proof positive, man.
Yeah.
That we are already together. It's just a matter of us making that connection with others who needs to have a better perspective of what's required of us in being together, because to be together is to support the ideals and objectives of one another, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to say this part before you go off, because you may need to even say something to this. I remember one of my mentors saying to me, and I'm talking about well over 40 years ago, boss. Well over 40 years. He said, one of the habits that we have as people, black people, with the history in our present, in our background of having a unique history of slavery and slavery causing us to not to trust one another. He said that's caused us to question each other in strange ways, man. When there is no question to be asked based on the clarity of the process, we still find a reason to question each other as though we don't trust what we're presenting to each other as being worthy of just being supported.
Yeah.
So he said, we're going to get beyond questioning because we think that it just needs to be questioned. Not everything needs to be questioned, because some things have enough clarity in it and it's coming from a source that's trustworthy. We need to show when to not question, because we had trust and faith in each other based on what the facts are saying. Not what I think about you or you thinking about me, what the facts are saying. And because we have this doubt in our mind of what it is that we're doing, the doubt causes us to question unnecessarily, and in turn, we set a stage of doubt in others who are listening, because we just don't know when to stop asking questions, because we think that everything needs to be questioned, and that is not true.
Yeah.
Everything don't need to be questioned, particularly when the facts support.
Yeah.
It just needs to be said sometimes, hey, I'm really acknowledging the value of this. I recognize what it's doing, and I'm willing to work with it. Sometimes we just need to do that, because some people and some leadership deserves that. And when we get to that point of doing that without hesitation, we're going to be making progress, mate. So I don't subscribe to this idea that everything needs to be questioned. No, I don't. I don't subscribe to that. But I do know the value of questioning when it's needed, and I would never discourage that. In fact, I've gone out of my way and asked people to ask questions if it need be. I understand the value of questioning, but we also need to understand when questioning is not necessary out of the sake of respecting guidance and leadership. Thank you very much, my dear brother.
Okay, you have a great evening, and until next week.
Yes, and likewise, and I thank you very kindly for people like you who are moving forward in the ideas that we say is worth latching on to. Thank you very kindly.
Okay, mate.
Have the rest of a great evening.
Yes, sir.
The number is 297-1027. We're talking Balance Matters. I was reminded that our conscience, our soul, because of its value, lets us know then we should stop playing and get serious. Calling on Balance Matters.
Brother Shakir,
Yes, my dear.
it's Ciola. How are you?
I'm thankful, Seal, and how are you?
I'm struggling with this gastro issue, but I'm hanging in.
I hope things get better for you, my dear.
Me too. Listen, getting back to Dame Jennifer, it was one of my favorite sayings coming out of that historic election. And in a nutshell, and I always remembered it, she said, hope is immediate, change is gradual.
Yes, look at that.
And people want change overnight just like they want a quick fix for everything.
Yes.
But appreciating the conversation, that's all I wanted to say. It reminded me when you brought that up, of that term.
Yes.
Stuck with me after all these years.
Yes.
You take care, okay?
I thank you for that correction. I appreciate that very much. And I thank
Well, you know me, I'm a stickler for facts, so some of the dates might get blurry, but I remember stuff.
Change is immediate. Change is not immediate, it's gradual.
Immediate. Change is gradual.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, man. Take care.
I appreciate it, my dear.
So, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yes. The number is 297-1027. We're talking Balance Matters. We always can use correction over the years. Look at the words I said. Is change is not immediate; it's a process. And she says change is not immediate; it's gradual. Yeah. Change is not an event; it's a process. Really, something how the mind can represent something based on what we think. I thank you very much, Ciola, for that reminder. We always want to do our best and represent, particularly when we're talking about individuals, in the best way possible. And that says a lot about what's going on Balance Matters. The quality of listenership and the desire to want to help one another. I don't think we should downplay what we could do with each other, for each other, particularly when we are looking to achieve the meaningful goals and objectives that's intended to give us a better future. I believe there's so many of us in that category. We just have to call on the Creator to help us to find ways of listening to one another so we could hear each other better. Not just the words, but hear the intent and purpose. Because sometimes we could read our intentions better than we could read what words we choose to use to make our points of view. And reading intent and purpose has a greater value than finding eloquent words. Because sometimes you can find a lot of eloquence with no sincerity and good intentions involved with the eloquence. So when I experience things like that, as small as it may sound, as simple as it may appear, it has a value that I can't measure. The number is 297-1027. We're talking Balance Matters. we must resist the temptation to put our burden on everybody else. We can't continue to overlook and recognize how important it is for us to accept responsibility for ourselves, even in our weaknesses. I broach this conversation or subject to point fingers at any individual or pull down any individual. If I even have a smidgen of desire to do that, right away I would say, and I'm going to put myself first to be put on the line, to be looked at for what it is that may reflect my weakness. Caller, you on Balance Matters?
Carmel, I'm calling back to just leave a quote my mother told me back in the day.
Yes.
When I was young.
Yes.
It goes like this. If youth knew what old age craved, youth would but earn and save.
Ah.
I say that to
boy.
say this.
Repeat that one again, man. Repeat that one again, please.
Hold on. You there?
Yes, yes, yes.
She said, if youth knew what old age craved, youth would but earn and save.
Simple,
okay, I say that to say, Carmel,
yes.
I'm on my back now, laying off in my bed.
Yes.
And as you know, I'm blind.
Yes.
But I did not waste my youth.
Yes.
And with my parents, she had the variety store in St. David's.
Yes.
And we as a family worked in that store. And when I say, especially my brother and I, we were there doing everything that an adult would do.
Yes.
Until we became man, and we stayed in him until we got married.
Yes.
And right now I'm in my own home that I built before I was married with 3 apartments.
Yes.
And that's where my effort spent.
Yes.
And that was early in my life. And I've never forgot that saying, and I always see what she meant.
Wow.
Here it is. I'm unable to speak to earn. Well, I shouldn't say I'm unable to earn, because I do. I like to make kites, and around kite time, I make a few bucks. I teach the kids how to make kites, which I get more out of doing that than even, selling kites.
Yes, yes. Yes.
I just thought I'd leave you with that little quote.
Yes, thank you for that nugget. Appreciate it. I'm pretty sure many of the listeners appreciated it as well. Thank you very much, my dear brother.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, take care.
Take care, buddy.
Yeah, likewise. Be safe.
Yes. Try.
The number is 297-1027. We're talking Balance Matters. When our children feel as though we're willing to make sacrifices, major sacrifices, in their interests. When our children get to know, by virtue of practice, that their loving family doesn't just talk, they back up their words with actions in support of what they say is in our best interest as a family. But our children end up understanding the value of that as they mature and understand the value of that relationship that is, I'll say, built from consistency of parents with good intentions, families working for the good and the interests of the entire family. When our children get to understand that, and they end up appreciating what was required to achieve that, respectful children respond by accepting to be accountable and responsible as an adult. Good young people, they end up going through the process of becoming a better human being when they could assess through the environment that they are raised in how those pieces of the puzzle that teaches them lessons come together, and how proof positive it is that responsibility for one another breeds caring and a feeling that we cannot ignore. We need to trust in that. I pray that we could see that this time that we're in right now, with the senseless killing taking place, unnecessary usage of weapons to satisfy the results of whatever our young people or those who are involved with because some of them are not so young. Those who are involved in nefarious acts that's has as a common activity the uses of gun violence and the intent of murdering for the sake of getting satisfaction for the objectives of the narrow-minded, insensitive behavior. We need to acknowledge how threatening that is and how far we're prepared to go to say we cannot afford to accept this. We must see the value of us taking on the burden, taking up the responsibility, and being reflective of fulfilling our roles and objectives as individuals, because those individuals become what? Parents. First of all, about sometimes, husband and wife. Parents. Now we're the model for a family. Can't say one thing and do something else and think that our children will respect or trust us. We degrade ourselves. We put ourselves down when we mistreat human life, especially our own. The number is 2971027. We degrade ourselves. We put ourselves down when we mistreat the human life. Now, Some of us may think that I'm just going a bit too far with this idea of stressing human life. The life intended for the human being is just not any old life. It's a special life that no other creature has. No other creature has the ability to create themselves by virtue of making choices in their lives. As much as we've been born with the best of the needs that we have, we've been born with all that we need. We find in creation all what we need. We're going to the line. Calling you on Balance Matters. You have 3 minutes.
Yes, this is Brother Trotter again. And,
Yes.
From
Yes.
I think you have a great show going, but we as people, like you said, must come together, but we must stand strong in the word of the Father.
Yes.
You know, He guides us. He gives us protection. And right now, you are preaching it. All I'm going to just tell you, Brother Crumble, preach it. Tell them. Tell them like it is. Preach it. You know, it's all in the Father. It's all in our strength. It's all with what we got to do. Everything does with the Father. And if He decides that it's not going to happen that day, everything happens in His time.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We, as people, are stronger, united. United we stand, united we fall.
Yes.
And I believe in that.
Yes.
And I believe in you, Brother Carmel. Keep on preaching the good music, mate.
Thank you very
much.
much.
Likewise, mate.
Appreciate it, sir.
And you have a good one.
You do likewise. Well, it's been a lovely evening. I say that because we've had an opportunity to reflect and respect what these points of view and this words and language that we've chosen to express with one another. I have no doubt in my mind that the intelligent mind, like I said in my monologue, and it begs for me to finish the program with this. Religion is a beautiful thing. It is intelligent. It respects human life so much that it wants us to have intelligence to manage human life for ourselves. Major religions as Al-Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, they are all known to have invited us to intelligence. Every religion wants you to have the intelligence to manage your own life, to manage your own self, and to get the satisfaction of seeing your life progress, knowing that your actions, your behavior is what made that happen. We cannot and we must resist the temptation to put our burden on everybody else. What comes out of misuse of drugs, violence, and bad behavior, if we are involved, we have to address that. Thank you very much for tuning in to Balance Matters. Tune in next week. Have the rest of a great evening.
Bermuda Live on YouTube. Subscribe now.